The judge's chambers is silent. Cameras flash. Robyn Brown sits rigid, tears welling but not spilling. The judge's voice cuts through the hush, calm, unwavering. Mrs. Brown, evidence indicates you were directly involved in the misappropriation of millions. The gasp from the crowd resonates like an earthquake, and in that single moment, all of Sister Wives ceases to breathe. Judge finds Robyn involved in fraud scandal million. This is the turning point for the Browns, their family, their wealth, and their tenuous loyalty. What started as a battle over real estate has become a storm in the courts no one anticipated. Stick with me to the very end, because this tale will take you deep into the courthouse, into the tears, the betrayal, and the shocking realities the cameras never showed. And off you go. Leave a comment. Did Robyn actually know what was going on? Or was she just a pawn to be used by Kody? The tale begins in Flagstaff, Arizona, on a sunny morning that is anything but serene. A flock of reporters mobs the courthouse steps, their microphones picking up the tension that hangs in the air like sugar and bees. Within, fluorescent lights buzz over a crowd of onlookers. Christine and Janelle sit side by side in the second row, their faces pinched, observing each gesture. Robyn arrives with her lawyer. She appears delicate, her hands wrapped around a heap of papers, her eyes flicking between the cameras and Kody, standing rigid by the defense table. His jaw locked, eyes narrowed, a tempest behind his face. Case number 347B, announces the clerk. State of Arizona versus Robyn Brown. The accusation? Fraudulent transfer of property and hiding of marital funds. Missing millions, funds that had originally belonged to the family, connected to their Coyote Pass development plan. How did we get here? The narrator voice speculates out loud, as if mirroring the audience's inner question. Months before, T. Browns were already breaking apart. Kody's business ventures had turned erratic, even desperate. With the failure of his plural marriages, he relied heavily on Robyn to take care of the finances, transferring accounts, moving money, opening new LLCs. It was to protect the assets of the family from lawsuits, or so Kody insisted. But as the months passed, numbers didn't quite reconcile. Christine was the first to notice. Payments for the Coyote Pass taxes had vanished. Janelle's share from the land investment was also missing. I didn't spend it, Christine explained to the investigator later, but someone sure did. Then came the email, an anonymous message to the Arizona Attorney General's office. Accompanying it were documents, transfers, signatures, receipts, all pointed to one account. Robyn's online boutique business. Why would Robyn risk everything for money? Whispers the courtroom rumor. The response, at least for now, is hidden in sealed evidence files. What the judge has to say next will flip every coalition in the Brown family on its head. The prosecution leads off with their first witness, a bookkeeper retained by Christine months prior to the investigation. He's composed, measured. His slides cover the projector screen, account records, dates, and transfers. These monies, he says, were transferred from joint family property into a separate private company owned by Mrs. Robyn Brown alone. Robyn's attorney interrupts, maintaining the transfers were standard business expenditures. But the accounting tells another tale. $2.4 million diverted in the course of 9 months, $800,000 of it taken out in cash. Christine leans forward, her fist clutching Janelle's. I knew it, she whispers, her voice shaking with anger and sadness. Robyn glances over at Kody, her lips trembling. You told me to sign those forms, she mouths. Kody's face hardens, his eyes cold. He looks straight ahead, pretending not to see her. The judge clears her throat. Mrs. Brown, you'll have your chance to speak. But that's the problem. When Robyn finally does, her words will shake the courtroom to its core. The following testimony will reveal the man Robyn alleges bullied her into being, and it's not who anyone would suspect. Flashback to a month prior to the trial. Robyn sits in her Flagstaff living room, a stack of papers on the coffee table. She's sobbing softly, her words cracking. Kody, this is not right, she says. These accounts are not ours. Kody paces, frown on his face. We're safeguarding what's left of the family, he maintains. They abandoned me, Robyn. They departed from Coyote Pass. If I don't transfer the money, they'll destroy everything. But the papers say personal transfer, Robyn whispers. That's illegal. Do you want this family ruined? Kody expostulates, banging his hand on the table. Just sign it. It's business. She hesitates and signs. Now, months on, they are evidence. Back in the courtroom, the judge's face twists as the prosecution holds them up, side by side. Robyn's handwriting clear. Mrs. Brown, can you tell us about these? Robyn swallows. I thought it was legal. I didn't know. The attorney interrupts harshly. You didn't know, but the money found its way into your account. Robyn's voice cracks. Kody told me to. I didn't want to lose everything. Gasps reverberate throughout the courtroom. Christine closes her eyes. Janelle gasps. Even Meri, seated in the back of the room, appears stunned. Kody's lawyer leans into him and whispers something, but Kody doesn't budge. His stare would cut through glass. Robyn just accused Kody openly in court, but what happens next will leave even the judge wondering who is really guilty. The day drags on, each witness stripping off another layer of dishonesty. The tension is palpable, thick, buzzing, almost solid. When Robyn testifies again, her words shake, but she's trying to hold firm. I believed we were rescuing the family, she says. I believed this was how. The prosecutor walks around slowly. Rescuing the family, or rescuing Kody? Silence. Robyn looks down, tears spilling onto the microphone. I loved him. I trusted him. The judge nods forward, her voice gentle but unyielding. Mrs. Brown, this court isn't passing judgment on love. It's passing judgment on intent. Across the courtroom at the defense table, Kody mutters something to his attorney. Christine's eyes lock on him, observing the way his hands ring together, the way his eyes flick toward Robyn, with moments of both guilt and fury. The prosecutor goes on, voice steady but icy. So you acknowledge, you knew the money was not all yours. I didn't think. Right. The lawyer cuts in. You didn't think. You acted. Robyn breaks into sobs. The courtroom falls silent, except for the sound of her crying. Christine clutches her necklace fiercely. We gave her everything, she says, and she stole it all. Outside the window, clouds gather across the Arizona sky. A storm to match the one within. Retention booster. Just as it appears Robyn has come clean, evidence arises that can dismantle Kody's whole defense. The judge asks for a brief recess. Cameras flash once more as Robyn is escorted away. Christine and Janelle look at each other, not knowing whether to feel vindicated or appalled. Kody steps out alone, his pale face whispering something to himself. A reporter shouts out, Mr. Brown, did you coerce Robyn into fraud? Kody freezes, points directly at the camera, and says, you folks don't have a clue what is really happening. He then turns and exits. Inside, the suspense mounts before the next hearing, in which the prosecution threatens documents that will shock everyone. The screen blackens on that promise. Robyn's tear-stained face, still etched in the vision. The courtroom doors creak open once more. The whispers and camera clicks thick in the air. When they all come back in from recess, the mood is different. The witnesses sense it. The lawyers sense it. Even the judge, generally cool and unfazed, seems to stiffen. Something massive is about to fall. Kody Brown walks back into the courtroom, his expression cold and inscrutable. He doesn't glance in Robyn's direction. She sits next to her attorney, her eyes puffy and red, her hands shaking around a tissue. Christine and Janelle are seated in the viewing gallery, their eyes watching like hawks, angry, betrayed, but silently awaiting justice. The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, the state would like to introduce recently acquired evidence that specifically connects Mr. Kody Brown to the fraudulent transfers mentioned this morning. There is a hush. Kody's lawyer springs up, objecting immediately, but the judge overrules. Proceed. The prosecutor clicks the button, and the projector screen illuminates with a sequence of scanned emails and bank forms. These, he tells them, are records accessed from Mrs. Brown's private email account, along with text messages between Mr. and Mrs. Brown, for the months in question. Robyn's head bows, embarrassed. She knows what is next. The screen displays an email with the date March 3, 2023, from Kody Brown to Robyn Brown. Subject, Coyote transfer. Just move the money tonight. Don't wait for the accountant. They won't catch on if it's done before the quarterly review. The courtroom erupts in a collective gasp. Kody turns white, his fist clenched around the table. The prosecutor's voice remains firm. These are not the words of a man who is ignorant. These are the words of an individual masterminding the scam. Kody's attorney interrupts, yelling, "Objection! Those emails are manufactured." The prosecutor smiles, except they were authenticated via the Brown's own internet service provider. Metadata validates the sender, location and time. Mr. Brown's laptop, his own digital signature encryption. As soon as the emails are authenticated, every gaze in the courtroom is directed at Kody, because now, the tears of Robyn take on a cold new significance. The judge's tone drops low. "Mr. Brown, would you like to respond to this?" Kody rises, his chair squeaking in protest. "Yes, I would." He shakes, but his pride refuses to let him be quiet. "This family has been put through hell. I have been accused of doing things that I did not do. I was trying to preserve our property, our future. Those women," he points towards Christine and Janelle, "they left everything behind. I was defending what remained." Christine can't resist. "Protect what? You stole our money, Kody," she screams, her voice breaking. "You spent all of us." The judge bangs her gavel. "Order. This is not an argument for a family. This is a court of law." Kody takes a deep breath and shoots a glare at Robyn. "You weren't supposed to bring me into this," he growls under his breath, loudly enough for the microphones to pick it up. The courtroom erupts once more. Reporters rush to tweet the quote. Robyn's attorney leans forward, whispering, "Mrs. Brown, this is your time. Be truthful." Robyn's lip quivers. She glances up at the judge, then at Christine and Janelle. And then she whispers, "He said they'd take it all. That if I didn't cooperate, we'd lose our house, the future of our children. Did you know it was against the law?" The prosecutor demands. "I knew it was bad." Robyn responds softly, "But I didn't think it was for us." The courtroom is quiet once more. As Robyn admits her crime, the courtroom changes from outrage to shock. But what the next witness has to say will leave everyone in stunned silence. The prosecutor summons a new witness, a former financial planner for the Browns, a man named Elliot Kane. He's smiling, professional, and obviously ill at ease. "Mr. Kane," the prosecutor begins, "can you describe your involvement with the Browns' financial planning?" "I was hired in early 2022 to oversee their real estate and family investments," Elliot replies, "mostly related to the Coyote Pass project." "Did you ever discuss moving money between accounts?" "Yes, Mr. Brown asked me how to temporarily hide certain funds to avoid division during a potential family dispute." Kody's lawyer interrupts. "That's speculation." Elliot holds up a signed piece of paper. "He wrote it down." The judge hunches forward, quivering eyebrows. "In writing?" Elliot nods. "A memo," Kody said, and I quote, "We'll take everything under Robyn's business temporarily. The others needn't know." The courtroom gasps yet again. Kody's attorney looks crushed. Robyn begins crying into her hands. Christine whispers to Janelle, "That's our money." Kody crosses his arms, scowling. "It wasn't a theft. It was strategy." The judge's voice slices through. "Mr. Brown, that's enough." She addresses the prosecutor. "Continue, please." Just as Kody's guilt seems obvious, one piece of evidence emerges that has the potential to completely rewrite the case. The prosecutor advances to the next slide. A handwritten note discovered in Robyn's home office. It says, "Keep this safe. If they turn on us, this will protect you. Key." The ink matches Kody's handwriting. The date, the night before the first transfer. But here's where the twist hits. On the back of the paper is a printed routing number. Not to Robyn's account, but to a private trust under Kody's name. Christine gasps audibly. Janelle covers her mouth. Even Robyn looks stunned, her expression shifting from heartbreak to realization. "You said you deleted those," she whispers at Kody. The prosecutor pauses, building the tension. So not only were funds moved through Mrs. Brown's accounts, but they eventually wound up in an entity owned entirely by Mr. Brown. The trail goes right to him. The judge leans back and takes a deep breath. "That will be enough for today. Court will resume tomorrow morning." Everyone rises, but no one budges. The silence is like a pressure cooker ready to blow. Kody glares at Robyn. "You should have remained silent." Robyn lifts her head, crying, "You should have been honest." While bailiffs guide them out individually, Christine and Janelle share a glance, not of triumph, but of skepticism. Years of combat, and finally they get to witness Kody bereft of power. But somehow it does not taste like justice. Not yet. Tomorrow's court hearing teases the bombshell that will determine everything. but the filing overnight by Kody's attorney will completely alter the trajectory of the case. Outside, the courthouse erupts in pandemonium. Reporters mob, firing off questions, microphones thrust into faces. Christine has little to say. We just want the truth. That's all. Robyn leaves separately, quiet, her attorney protecting her from the camera flashes. She appears shattered, like a woman grappling between guilt and terror. Kody doesn't hesitate for the media. He pushes through the crowd, grumbling to himself. They'll never get it. I created this family. But that evening, as he sits by himself in his pickup truck in the parking lot, the weight of it all finally settles in. The judge had seen the emails. The world had seen the proof. And tomorrow, when court reconvenes, the prosecution promises to introduce one final witness, one from within the Brown family. Kody gazes out at the desert horizon. As the sun dips, the orange light bouncing off his windshield. His empire, once constructed on family and faith, is crumbling before his eyes. He clutches the steering wheel white-knuckled, muttering to himself, I can still fix this. But deep down, even Kody knows, there's no fixing what's coming next. The courtroom weighs heavier today, as if the walls themselves know what's coming. News reporters have doubled overnight, and the press is referring to it as the sister wives trial of the decade. Inside, the tension is palpable. Christine and Janelle sit shoulder to shoulder in the front row, their determined faces pale. Robyn sits alone at the defense table, her eyes drawn out from a night without sleep. And Kody, his jaw clenched, his face unreadable, won't even meet anyone's eye. The judge sits down. Court is now in session. The prosecutor rises, a small smile on his lips. Your Honor, the state would like to introduce a new witness, someone who has recently emerged with first-hand information about Mr. Brown's financial dealing. Kody's attorney frowns. Your Honor, this witness wasn't disclosed. Overruled. The judge cuts in. Proceed. The doors swing open. Every single camera turns. The whole courtroom gasps as Meri Brown enters. Kody's face goes white. No, he whispers. Robyn is stunned, holding her chest. Christine has her hands over her mouth in shock. Meri strides confidently to the stand, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor. She seems calm, but her hands are shaking slightly as she is sworn in. The prosecutor starts softly. Mrs. Brown, can you tell the court your relationship to the defendant? I was his first wife. Meri replies, matter-of-factly, her voice firm but weighted. For more than 20 years. And was there access to the family's financial affairs during that period? Meri pauses, looking at Kody for an instant. Not always. But I knew things that I shouldn't have. When Meri gets on the stand, nobody in the courtroom has any idea the truth she's about to utter will shatter every remaining illusion about Kody Brown. The prosecutor edges forward. Mrs. Brown, can you clarify what you meant by that? Meri clenches her fist. For years Kody controlled it all. The money, the accounts, the property deeds. He said it was to keep things straight, but in reality it was about control. We trusted him. All of us did. Kody squirms in his seat, his jaw clenching. Did you ever see anything out of place? Meri slowly nods. Last year when Christine left, Kody asked me to sign some papers. He said it was for refinancing the Coyote Pass property. But when I looked at it more closely, it wasn't refinancing. It was transferring ownership away from us to one of Robyn's companies. Gasps can be heard in the courtroom. The prosecutor holds up a file. Your Honor, we have those documents, and they carry Mrs. Brown's signature. Meri swallows hard. I signed one, but not all of them. The rest were forged. The judge's eyebrows shoot up. Forged? Yes. And I can prove it. I complained at the county recorder's office months ago. They told me my signature on at least 2 of those documents was forged. The courtroom erupts once more. Kody's lawyer flails to object, but the harm is done. Christine's eyes well up with tears. He forged her name, she whispers. He actually did that? Robyn puts her hand over her face, shaking her head. No, that's not true. But Meri goes on, her voice firm now. When I confronted him, he said, don't make this more complicated than it has to be. You'll get your share later. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. Kody jumps up, pounding his hands on the table. You're taking everything out of context. You have no idea what was going on behind the scenes. The judge bangs down her gavel. Mr. Brown, sit down or be held in contempt. He scowls at Meri and sits, grumbling under his breath. You're just mad because you were excluded. Meri's eyes shine, but her voice is steady. No, Kody, I'm here because we all trusted you, and you broke that trust. When Meri's testimony ends, the next witness's arrival will hit Kody harder than any accusation so far. The prosecutor thanks Meri and turns toward the back of the courtroom. Your Honor, the state would like to call one final witness for today. Someone whose testimony directly connects the fraudulent transfers to Mr. Brown's private accounts. The door opens again. Logan Brown, the eldest son of Kody and Janelle. This time, the audience gasps again. A ripple of murmurs along the room. Janelle's hand darts up to her mouth. Oh my God, she breathes. Christine's hand rests reassuringly on her shoulder. Kody appears punched. What the devil are you doing here? He hisses. Logan eschews eye contact as he makes his way to the stand. He appears confident, yet there is an overwhelming sadness in his eyes, the sort only a child would experience when testifying against their own father. The prosecutor steps forward. Mr. Brown, can you inform the court what you learned? Logan's head bobs. I am a finance person. A few months ago, I saw irregularities in the family trust account that didn't add up. I talked to my dad about them. What did he say? He said not to be so inquiring, but I looked anyway. That's when I discovered transactions from the Coyote Pass Fund to an offshore account in his name. The courtroom erupts. Cameras flash. The judge pounds her gavel over and over. Order! Order! Kody's attorney attempts to intervene. Your Honor, this is hearsay? No, it's not. Logan cuts in, producing a printed sheet. These are the records of transactions. I copied them myself. The prosecutor holds them up for the court. Your Honor, these records have been audited by 2 independent accountants. Robyn is devastated. Her mouth falls open, but she cannot form words. Christine puts her hands over her face, whispering, "It's worse than we thought." Kody finally loses it. You're doing this to help them, Logan. You think this is justice? You're tearing your own family apart. Logan's voice trembles, but he refuses to back down. No, Dad. You tore it apart when you began telling us lies. The whole courtroom is silent. Even the judge appears stunned. When a son betrays his father, the truth is no longer about money. It's about survival, legacy, and what remains of love. Following the testimony, the judge calls for a quick recess. Reporters spill out into the hallway to report the mayhem. Inside, Robyn completely breaks down, weeping into her hands. Christine and Janelle exit into the hallway, shaken. Forged Meri's signature, manipulated Robyn. He used Logan. Janelle whispers. He's not who we thought he was. Christine nods. He never was. He just concealed it behind faith and control. Back in the courtroom, Kody slumps over the defense table. His attorney speaks in hushed, urgent tones, but he is not hearing. His gaze is unfocused, his thoughts elsewhere. He's replaying every moment he rationalized his decisions, every time he told himself it was for the family. The family is now testifying against him. The judge returns, her voice colder than earlier. Mr. Brown, on the basis of evidence heard, this court finds grounds to entertain additional charges of forgery, perjury, and obstruction of justice. You will be kept under investigation for further examination. Kody's body tenses. You can't do that to me, he yells. Robyn dares look up through her tears. You did it to yourself. The bailiff steps closer, but the judge waves him off. We're adjourned for today. As the gavel falls, Christine, Janelle, and Meri stand together for the first time in years, not as wives but as witnesses to the truth. Kody watches them go, a flicker of regret flashing across his face, before turning cold again. The audience clears out. Photographers pursue the Browns for quotes. But one thing rings louder than any microphone, whispered by viewers, bellowed by journalists, felt by anyone who's ever seen the show. If Kody could betray them in this way, what else has he been keeping secret all along? Kody's secret past and hidden accounts will come to light, and one last betrayal will test the case, and his family, to the limit. The courtroom was not just a forum of justice anymore. It was now a field of shattered hearts and secrets buried. Kody Brown sat stiffly at the defense table, his fingers clutching the edge like a man clinging to the final shard of his collapsing kingdom. The air was heavy, charged with fear and doubt, and the unspoken realization that something big was going to break. The judge adjusted her glasses, her voice slicing through the whispers. Mr. Brown, prior to continuing, The court has received additional documentation related to the financial discrepancies in question. All of them were frozen. Even Robyn, who'd been whispering hysterically to her lawyer, remained silent. The clerk returned a thick envelope. It contained a pile of bank transfers, dozens of them to offshore accounts in Kody's name, directly connected to the family trust. Christine's eyes widened in shock, her hand shooting up to her mouth. "You told us you were broke, Kody. You told us we had nothing." Kody's face turned bright red, then white. His voice shook but attempted to maintain its accustomed authority. "That money was a reserve. For taxes. For security. You don't know how much stress." "Stop." Janelle snapped, rising from her gallery seat. "Stop distorting this. You let us think we couldn't pay our bills while you stashed millions abroad." The courtroom exploded. This was no longer fraud. This was about betrayal at the most fundamental level. The judge slammed her gavel, but even she could not quiet the emotional bedlam. Meri faced Robyn, her voice quavering but firm. "Was this your idea? Was this how you got him to marry you legally? By manipulating everything using money?" Robyn's eyes went wide with tears. "No, I didn't know about those accounts. I swear I thought." "Thought what?" Christine's tone cut like a blade. "That lying was part of love? That deception was your family value?" This is the moment everything broke. The narrator continued, voice low and heavy. Years of manipulation, half-truths, and emotional games, all collapsing in one courtroom. The judge ordered the room to be brought back into order, but it was too late. The Brown family wasn't only battling a court war, they were self-destructing in public. Robyn gripped the rail of the witness stand, tears streaming down her face. "I didn't intend for any of this to occur," she whispered, as if to herself. "I simply wanted him to love me." Kody faced her, his face inscrutable, half rage, half despair. "You believe love is money, Robyn? That control breeds loyalty?" She shook her head, tears running down her face. "No, Kody. I believe lies ruin everything, and you've lied to all of us." The crowd was hushed, the emotional tension charged. Even the judge leaned forward slightly, her tone softening. "Mr. Brown, this court requires full disclosure. You've withheld assets, manipulated accounts, and violated the financial trust between parties in this case. That alone is grounds for severe penalty." Kody exhaled, defeated. The mask, the confident patriarchal leader of sister wives, cracked completely. "I did it," he said at last, voice raspy. "I stashed the money, but not for greed, for survival. When the show began tanking, when everyone abandoned me, I panicked. I thought, if I could hold on to the money, I could hold on to what was left of my family." Control was Kody's vice, and this courtroom was his intervention. Christine stood, shaking but firm. "You didn't lose your family because of finances, Kody. You lost it because you never treated us as equals." The silence that came after hung there like a thick fog. Even the cameras in the far corner froze for an instant, still on Kody's face, white and deathly as if he finally heard them for himself. Janelle folded her arms, crying. "You always claimed you were the protector. But who keeps us safe from you?" Meri, still in her chair, grumbled. "All those years I felt like I was to blame. I thought I wasn't good enough. Guess it was never about us. It was about you." Robyn covered her face and shook, whispering something nobody could hear. The judge cleared her throat, voice stern once more. "Mr. Brown, this case has moved from mere fraud to intentional concealment and manipulation of communal assets. You can expect federal examination if proof of intent keeps accumulating." The room fell silent once more. That federal word altered everything. Kody blinked as if from a bad dream. "You can't take all of it away from me. That land, Kody, pass. It belongs to me." The judge looked at him icily. "Mr. Brown, in case of conviction, that property may be confiscated as restitution." Kody, pass. What was once his vision of unity, now became the emblem of his demise. Kody's eyes scanned the room frantically, as if seeking someone to come to his defense. But all the faces, Meri, Janelle, Christine, even Robyn, turned away. For the first time, Kody was alone. The judge adjourned court. Cameras flashed, reporters whispered, and the air was filled with murmurs. Christine turned to the others. "This is what occurs when power takes love's place." Robyn did not answer. She stood up slowly, still shaking, and breathed, "I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this." Kody called out after her, "Robyn, don't leave me." But she did. For the first time since they'd met, Robyn Brown didn't glance back. And just like that, the voice of the narrator returns, taut and ethereal. The courtroom that was initially a stage for justice turned into the graveyard of the sister wives' legacy. As Kody leaned back in his chair, the judge's words faded faintly through his mind. The truth will always find its way to light, Mr. Brown. Outside, there were shouted questions, flashing cameras, and online fans already speculating. But for the Brown family, the true story wasn't what everyone witnessed. It was what shattered within them that day. Kody's lawyer leaned in. They're going to go deeper now. Those accounts, all of them. You'd better warn me if there's more. Kody gazed ahead, vacant-eyed. There's always more. But what nobody realized, the narrator whispers, was that the deepest secret, the one that could ruin Kody for life, hadn't even arisen yet. The day after the courtroom drama, the Brown surname dominated news tickers, Twitter feeds, late-night television talk shows. Reality television star Kody Brown brought down by money scandal. One headline blared. Another featured Robyn crying outside the courthouse, with the caption, "The favorite wife finally breaks down." But within, out of the din, Kody sat by himself in his vacant living room at Kody Pass. The house was empty. No laughter, no kids, no wives, no voice. Piles of unopened mail on the counter, legal papers, eviction papers, and one last letter from Robyn. He opened it with shaking hands. Her script was tiny and delicate, but every sentence struck like a sledgehammer. "Kody, I stood by you because I believed in you. But somewhere along the way, you stopped believing in truth. The man I fell in love with would have protected his family, not hidden from them. I can't do this anymore. Goodbye." He let go of the letter, gazing unseeing at the wall. The man who had ruled over 4 households could no longer keep one. Sometimes, the narrator's voice whispers, you don't lose everything all at once. It erodes piece by piece, until you look around and see you're the only one remaining. In the meantime, in Flagstaff, Christine and Janelle had coffee together. Christine was shaken from court, but managed a weak smile. "Do you think he'll ever see what he did was wrong?" Janelle shook her head. "Kody does not see wrong. He sees loss of control. That is his worst fear, not being in charge." Christine nodded, gazing out the window. "He believed money would be able to hold us. But love doesn't operate on that level." For the first time in years, the narrator continued, the women weren't just survivors, they were free. 1 week later, the court was back again for sentence. The room was subdued this time, but tension still hung in the air. Kody's attorney whispered, "We've negotiated a deal, restitution for probation. You accept full culpability, and you remain at home." Kody glared at the judge, his words barely above a whisper. "I confess, I swindled my family, I lied to them. I wanted to hold on when I had already lost their hearts." The judge nodded slowly. "Mr. Brown, your confession gets you out of jail, but it does not get you out of the consequences. You are hereby divested of all rights to Kody Pass. The property will be sold to cover your debts." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Robyn wasn't there to witness it. She had left a few days prior. But Christine, Janelle and Meri were. Christine leaned over in a whisper, "It's over." But Janelle shook her head. "No, it's finally starting." And that, the narrator whispers, was the true end of Kody Brown. Not the TV man, but the man behind the curtain. The media storm erupted once more. Fans went divided online. Some blamed Robyn, others rallied round her. Pieces of the trial went viral, and one scene stood out. Christine staring at Kody and declaring, "You didn't lose your family because of money. You lost it because you never treated us like equals." That line became a cry to arms for viewers from coast to coast. Weeks later, TLC issued a statement. Owing to ongoing legal proceedings, production for Sister Wives is on indefinite hold. And suddenly the series that had represented love, faith and family was over in scandal, silence and shame. Kody closed his final box. Stepping outside, the wind howled across the vacant Kody Pass, land that was to be their destiny. He gazed out at the hills and sighed. "I did it for them. For us." What happened to everything? There was no reply, only the rustle of wind, and the echo of what used to be. Sometimes, the narrator says, the hardest endings aren't the ones that blow up. They're the ones that slowly fade away, leaving only memory. Christine then sent out a message online. Not in anger, not in vengeance, simply peaceful. Closure isn't revenge, it's acceptance. We all deserve to move forward. It went viral overnight. Support flooded in the comments. Many expressed that they finally comprehended what she had gone through. Others simply said thank you for living. Meanwhile, Janelle began a financial education podcast. Meri reopened her bed and breakfast on a full-time basis. And Robyn, while still quiet publicly, was spotted volunteering at a local shelter, out of the view of cameras and commotion. As for Kody, he went off the radar. But gossip circulated. Glimpses in small towns, rumors of new business pursuits. But each photograph revealed the same: a smaller man than previously, as if the burden of truth had finally crushed him. The empire of sister wives is gone. The tone of the narrator changes, serious yet optimistic. But perhaps, the truth finally freed them. The scene blurs to Christine by a fire, her face bathed in soft orange glow. I used to dream of Kody past, she murmurs. Now I dream of peace. The music builds, slow and sentimental. The camera sweeps up into the night sky, stars twinkling over the Arizona desert. The same Arizona desert, where they once held their dreams. And somewhere out there, the narrator whispers, the land still waits, silent, empty but healing. If you've watched this far, the narrator goes on warmly. I want to ask you, what do you think real justice looks like? Was this the ending the Browns deserved? Or is there still more truth to uncover? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story isn't over yet.